Imagine two people. One invests $500 a month. The other invests twice as much, but starts 10 years later. Who do you think ends up wealthier? Most people would say the second person. They're wrong. In many cases, the first investor ends up with more money, even though they invested far less. That sounds impossible, but it isn't, because the wealthiest people don't just earn money. They own something much more valuable: time. And time has a strange relationship with money. Every extra year becomes more valuable than the one before it. That's the hidden engine behind millions of dollars. Not a secret stock, not a lucky crypto trade, not winning the lottery. Not winning the lottery. Just one financial principle that almost everyone has heard of, but very few people truly understand: compound interest. The strange part? Schools barely teach it. Social media makes it seem boring. And because it doesn't create overnight millionaires, most people ignore it. Until one day, they wake up at 50 and wonder where all the time went. Today, we're going to break down how wealthy people quietly use compound interest to build massive fortunes, while everyone else keeps chasing shortcuts. And by the end of this video, you may never look at money or time the same way again. Let's start with a simple question. Imagine I give you two choices. Option A, I hand you $1 million today. Option B, I give you 1 penny, but that penny doubles every day for 30 days. Almost everyone chooses the $1 million. It feels obvious. A penny is practically worthless. But by day 30, that penny grows to more than $5 million. Not because pennies are magical, because exponential growth doesn't feel real until it's almost finished. Our brains aren't wired to understand exponential growth. We naturally think in straight lines. If you walk 1 mile today and another mile tomorrow, you've walked 2 miles. Simple. Money doesn't behave that way when it's compounding. First, your money earns returns. Then those returns start earning returns. Then the returns on those returns begin earning even more. Eventually, your money starts making more money than you do. And that's when everything changes. Before we go any further, hi, I'm Jax, and in this video, I'm going to show you how the rich quietly use compound interest to build millions, while most people never realize what's happening until it's too late. If you're interested in building wealth, understanding investing, and learning how money really works, you're in the right place. Now, let's keep going. Here's one of the biggest myths about wealth. Most people think rich investors become wealthy because they earn incredible returns. Sometimes they do, but that's usually not the biggest reason. The biggest reason is they started earlier. Let's compare two investors. Sarah begins investing at 25 years old. She invests $500 every month and earns an average annual return of 10%. She keeps investing until she's 65. Now meet Michael. He also invests $500 a month. He earns the exact same 10% annual return. The only difference? He waits until he's 35 to start. Those 10 years cost him hundreds of thousands of dollars. Not because he invested less, but because he lost the most valuable asset in investing: time. Compound interest rewards patience far more than effort. That's why Warren Buffett became one of the richest people in history. Yes, he's an extraordinary investor, but here's something most people overlook. The majority of his wealth came after the age of 50. Not because he suddenly became smarter, but because his investments had decades to compound. His money kept working while he was sleeping. That's the part people miss. Everyone wants Buffett's returns. Very few people want Buffett's timeline. Now here's where things get uncomfortable. Most people don't destroy compound interest because they choose bad investments. They destroy it because of their behavior. They buy a new car every few years. They panic and sell during market crashes. They try to time the market. They jump into whatever investment is trending online. Every time they do, they interrupt the compounding process. Imagine planting a tree. Every 5 years, you dig it up and plant a new one somewhere else. Would it ever grow into a giant oak? Probably not. Investing works the same way. The biggest rewards usually come during the final years, but most people quit long before they ever get there. Ironically, the hardest part of investing isn't choosing what to invest in. It's simply staying invested. Now, let's look at the math wealthy families understand. Suppose you invest $1,000. You earn 10%. Now you have $1,100. The following year, you're no longer earning returns on just your original $1,000. You're earning returns on the extra $100 as well. Then the next year, you're earning returns on those new returns, and the cycle keeps repeating. This is why many investors say the first $100,000 is the hardest. Not because it's impossible, but because once your investments reach a meaningful size, the compounding engine becomes dramatically stronger. Think about pushing a giant flywheel. At first, it barely moves. Every push feels difficult. But eventually, the wheel starts helping you. Then it becomes incredibly hard to stop. Money behaves in a surprisingly similar way.
Here's another secret wealthy people understand: opportunity cost. Every dollar you spend today isn't just $1 that's gone. It's the future value of that dollar. Spend $100 on something you don't really need. That decision isn't just worth $100. If that money had been invested for decades, it could have grown into hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Wealthy people don't just see today's price. They see tomorrow's value. Poor financial decisions rarely feel expensive today. They become expensive 20 years from now. That's why building wealth often looks boring, because discipline rarely goes viral. Now, let's be realistic. Compound interest isn't magic. It has limits. If inflation stays high, your purchasing power decreases. If you constantly withdraw your investments, compounding slows down. If your investments consistently earn poor returns, growth takes much longer. Compound interest is incredibly powerful, but it still depends on 3 things: consistency, time, and reasonable long-term returns. Take away any one of those, and the entire system becomes weaker.
Now let's zoom out. Compound interest isn't just about money. Knowledge compounds, skills compound, relationships compound, reputation compounds, healthy habits compound. Bad habits compound too. A daily soda, growing credit card debt, putting off investing for another year. Small decisions repeated thousands of times eventually become life-changing outcomes. Life is full of invisible compound interest. Money just happens to be the easiest place to see it.
So why doesn't everyone become wealthy? Because compound interest asks for something that most people aren't willing to give: time. It doesn't reward excitement. It rewards consistency. It doesn't care how motivated you feel today. It only cares whether you keep going. And that's difficult in a world obsessed with instant results. We expect overnight shipping, instant entertainment, instant success. Compound interest offers none of that. Instead, it quietly asks one question: can you wait?
Here's the irony. The wealthiest investors often look like they're doing almost nothing. They're not constantly trading. They're not chasing headlines. They're not panicking every time the market drops. While everyone else is reacting, they're letting time do the heavy lifting. It looks boring until you compare portfolios 20 or 30 years later. Then, suddenly, it looks brilliant.
So maybe the real question isn't how do rich people become millionaires? Maybe the better question is, How many people unknowingly stop compounding before it ever has the chance to change their lives? Because the greatest advantage in investing isn't having insider information. It isn't finding the perfect stock. It isn't predicting the next market crash. It's giving time enough room to do what it does best. And in today's world, that's becoming increasingly rare. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more finance content that helps you build long-term wealth. Before you leave, I want to hear from you. If someone handed you $10,000 today, would you spend it or invest it for the next 30 years? Let me know your answer in the comments. And while you're there, tell me what finance topic you'd like me to cover next. I'll see you in the next video.